All right, everybody, that right there is another song by Ramon Goose, and the singer on there is an African blues singer and an amazing voice. Can't understand a word the dude says, though. I have no idea, but he's a great singer, has great vocals. And you know who's also great at what he does, Alan?
No, why don't you tell me?
Our guest right now, Mr. Terry Wickham, who's joining us live on Skywatchers Radio right here on the Dark Matter Digital Network and PSN Radio. Terry, this is the first time you've been on this show, even though you and I have known each other for a few years now, and you've been on my other show plenty of times. But welcome to this show, man. It's such a pleasure to have you on here.
Oh, thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Now, the audience... Yes, we are. The audience on this network, Dark Matter, does not know you as well as the audience on PSN might know you. So give us a little bit of a brief rundown on your background in filmmaking and stuff and what you've been working on. And then we'll jump right into The Devil's Five, which I know we want to promote. So tell us a little bit about Terry Wickham, the filmmaker.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm been a filmmaker now almost 30 years. I saw Halloween in 1978, and it really just had an impact on me. And I wanted to be able to do what John Carpenter did to me as a audience member. So since that time, I just started, learning about filmmaking. Started out in high school in the TV production course. Took that into making some music videos, which I call amateur music videos, by taking like a song, whether it would be Pantera, Madonna, or Metallica, and I would tell a story to that. And I did about 30 of those in West Germany and Louisiana and Oklahoma, and when I was in the military. And then
that's a big difference between Germany and West Virginia. That's
quite a difference. Yeah,
that's a little bit of a commute. I'm just saying.
Exactly. And then, progressed to professional music videos for artists like Michael Knight, Voodoo Storm, Postponing the Inevitable. Then I started doing, at the same time, I started doing short films. I did a short film called Madam Red. Then I did one called Double Fantasy. Then I actually made a feature film when I was 24.
I got to ask, what was Double Fantasy rated?
Double Fantasy would be rated, believe it or not, I think it would be like a PG-13.
Not that kind of fantasy, Alan.
Yeah, it was a story about these three girls that go to this old scary house and they tell their fantasies. One is kind of sexual, one is funny.
Yeah, most of those kind of fantasies do start like that, though, Terry.
I'm sorry, my mind went to the gutter. So
from the start of the story, though, Alan, you were right to go to the gutter. I mean, that's what it sounded like. Go ahead, Terry.
Yeah, and then The Last Girls is more like a Beauty and the Beast love story, and that's kind of the main focus on that particular movie. Then I did a feature film that was my first feature film. I made it when I was 24. It took a year to shoot it. We shot 45 days over a year. New Jersey, Manhattan, Long Island, all over the place. And it was not a horror film. It was a drama called Out of Touch. And we finished it. I basically distributed it into a couple of theaters that we showed it to, but it never really took off completely. But it's a 132-minute movie with about 40 actors.
Okay.
Wow, that's pretty
that's
good.
A big movie.
Yeah. It's a big production,
Yeah. And then then I did another short film called what was the next one after that? Oh, then I did a feature film that I directed 2 films out of the 3. It was a film called Evil Streets. It was actually released. We actually self-distributed. That actually went out all over the place. We're in Fangora magazine. We were at Chiller Convention in New Jersey. We sold it in all kinds of different horror film places. It starred Serena Lee, the busty kind of beauty from Florida, played the lead in this episode I directed called Stock. It's about this muscle-bound, obsessed fan that was after her. He was obsessed with her and, follows her around through these dances and such. And it was a lot of fun. And I actually recruited Serena through the old way of doing things. It was before the internet.
Couch.
Well,
yes. Don't worry about the video camera. Just pretend.
We have this really cool scene that it's like you used the casting couch, didn't you?
I wish I could say that, but no. Actually, that was the days of snail mail. So I actually had to send her a letter because she's from Jacksonville, Florida. Took her like 5 months.
They did have phones back then, but don't tell everybody.
I didn't have her number. And then I send her a thing, and then 5 months later she responds. We end up it was actually for a different movie called Perishing Hearts, and I was looking for like this super busty blonde to play this role, and she fit that to a T. And then what happened was I got offered this other movie, Evil Streets, and I told her, I said, I'd like to be part of this little film called Evil Streets. I'll write a story. If you end up saying yes, I'll do it. I'll write a story about what you already know how to do, which is dance, and have this guy obsessed with you. And so she said yes, and we ended up doing the movie together. But that was Evil Streets. And then there was another movie called The Downfall of Johnny Garrett that I directed about this girl that gets raped by this street punk, and then she calls the assistance of a dead friend through a seance, or should I say through a Ouija board, to come back and get revenge on the guy who raped her. That was pretty crazy.
That's actually a really cool plot line. Is it time for a remake on that one? That actually sounds like a really...
Can I help you direct it?
Yeah, that one actually sounds really, really good.
I like that. Yeah.
Yeah, that was all part of the same feature film, which is Evil Streets. And then, then from there I did a short film called Sarah. Then I did one called Washington Road that won an international film contest. Then I did one called Help Me, about this writer who's got this writer's block, and these people come to his house to give him ideas. And I wanted to kind of physicalize what a writer goes through. So they actually aren't real. They're in his imagination. But I kind of...
all the people coming in are part of his imagination.
They're part of the imagination that gives them the ideas to write the story. So I was trying to give people a chance to see what it's like in a writer's head, kind of, where we get different ideas. Could be even the same idea, but different variations. And that was end up being... You can actually watch that on my website. If you go to mantaraypictures.com, you can watch that film. It's right there. It's about 8 minutes long. And then I did a weird... It wasn't a short, and it wasn't a feature. It was like in between. It was a 45-minute film called Hair of the Dog. It was about a female serial killer that attacks rapists and people who are participating in rape-type things.
So, basically, it's a vigilante-ish kind of a thing,
right?
Yeah, and she's the one dealing out the punishment, and she's this blonde, kind of buxom killer.
It seems you have a thing for buxom women.
Well, there's no doubt about
it. Join the
club. Yeah, without a doubt, that's my kind of lady. And if you look at a lot of my films, I always try to include that because for some reason I don't see it a lot with a lot of mainstream directors, but I try to include it because that's my kind of lady. So you'll see that even in in Devil's Five. There's one in particular in Stash that I directed last year. This really dark-haired, raven, wicked actress named Tina Saribian. And we actually, at one point we needed to have a magazine that was kind of like I guess you could say sexual nature. So I didn't really want to have
yes.
I didn't want to have out and out sex. I wanted to have the boobs. So I contacted Score Magazine. They let me use one of their issues. And I said, you know what? If I'm going to go all the way, let me just show the biggest boobs. And it wasn't a close-up, and it wasn't far. But there's a girl named Bishine from Germany, and we had her debut cover. She's really small in the picture, but it's within the scene. It's kind of just off to the side, but we included that. And then in my new movie, Devil's Five, of course, Veronica Freeman, she's I guess you could say she's a heavy metal goddess, and she's got the voluptuous look, and she fits that to a T too. She's good, so she'll satisfy that part of my audience as well.
Well, apparently she's satisfying someone there. Yep. Okay. it sounds all well and good. Have you done any SAG type movies, or
I actually just directed my first SAG production in April of this year, just a few months back. I directed a teaser trailer for a TV pilot called Existence, and it's SAG, and we shot the trailer in April. It's actually being edited now, and then we're going to shoot the pilot. I'm going to direct the pilot in September, October. It's all SAG. Amazing cast. We got all kinds of great people.
Now, whose idea is the series? That's the real question.
Yeah, it was created by a guy named Emilio Rosa. He's a producer, writer, actor from Lindenhurst, Long Island.
All right.
He was connected.
I'm assuming at this point you live in New York.
Yeah, I do. I live in Long Island.
Good
And
catch there, Alan.
Yeah, I'm kind of lucky because there's a lot of stuff going on here, and you can make obviously the acting talent is just fantastic. So feel pretty lucky I'm able to work with these kind of people.
So is anybody going to the licensing expo that's coming up this week in Vegas?
Well, not anyone from these productions, but in the first weekend of July, I
Right.
just directed an infomercial for a martial arts product called the Super Punch and Kick Target. It's a new product that's got a patent pending. A friend of mine and his wife Kato and Tina Pergine, they created this with their partner, and they're taking it to the Martial Arts Festival in Las Vegas, and we're actually, as we speak, in post production on it. Just got my music composer, this really talented guy from Portland, Oregon, named Andrew Miles, who's also known as Deeper Net. That's his band name. He's like an ambient techno electronic artist. So he's scoring it as we speak. It was shot and edited by Jason Pollock, who's my special visual effects artist on Devil's Five. And so we have an infomercial that's going to be debuting there in Vegas in about I guess about 2.5 weeks.
Well, if it was a really cool product, you should definitely talk to me about that because, of course, Angel knows what I do as a full-time thing is help create, promote, and design pitches for products to be actually demonstrated at events across the country and world.
That's what it is. Yeah, he doesn't make his money on the radio here.
I definitely do not make... This is fun stuff for me. I definitely do not make money here. Unless, of course, folks, you do want to call in and donate money to us. We do like that.
Make it to Angel Espino. Thank you very much.
Hey.
Don't worry, I'll share. Relax.
I'm the one who had to deal with TSA, okay?
I'll give you... Yeah, that's true, too, but I'll give you about 10%. Don't worry. 10%.
10%, yeah. All right, yeah.
And by the way, I'm looking at this lady, Veronica Freeman.
Yeah.
And all I got to say is...
Yeah, send me a link. Let's see what she looks like. Are my eyes gonna hurt afterwards? Is she like popping out?
She's a looker. No, she's a looker. She's a good-looking lady.
And she's a real sweet. She's a real sweetie, and she's a pretty amazing heavy metal singer. I mean, she's not a screamer. It's not like a death metal or thrash metal. She's like
but I like screamers.
Yes, you do, but never mind.
Well, I'm sorry, but did my mind go to the gutter again? I'm sorry.
Again.
It's my fault. Yeah, my mind went to the gutter. Sorry, folks. If you do want to complain,
what are we going to do with you?
If you do want to complain or just comment about my gutter mind, folks, you can call in, and Angel's going to give that phone number out again, which is
786-245-8127. If you guys want to call in and ask Terry here any questions, please do so. Open lines. Terry, tell us a little bit more about Devil's Five. When did you start production on this one?
Well, actually, it was a project that came to me by my friend Thaddeus Bird about 2 years ago. And,
yes, good guy.
Yeah, he was the first guy to ask me to be part of the project, and told me he had this idea of doing a found footage feature instead of one guy coming up with the money for the whole thing. That there'd be 5 stories, kind of like Creepshow or Twilight Zone, where 5 guys would come up with 5 different movies, all revolving around the same subject of the devil, most of them, or if not all of them, to be shot in a found footage way. So I accepted it.
Now, I got to interrupt and ask a question for you. Do you agree or disagree with Variety and some of the other industry papers that are saying that the found footage type of methodology is almost played out at this point?
Oh, I think that it is, and I think that it always happens like that, whether it be hair metal of the 80s or whether it be slasher movies of the early.
No, I'm
80s.
saying found footage is.
Yeah.
Done.
I think it is, and one of the ways we combated that. And by the way, just so I don't forget to say this, we've got 3 days left to raise the money to shoot Devil's Five. It's on Indiegogo.com. If you type in Devil's Five, that's DEVIL''S''FIV, not the number, but the word 5. And we've got 3 days. Saturday at 3 p.m. it ends, and we're taking all that money to make Devil's Five. None of it's going to anyone's salary. It's all going to the actual movie. It's going to the hard prices that we have to fly Veronica in, Ralph Shepard from Primal Fear from Germany, insurance, food, makeup effects, visual effects. So that's all the stuff. So if there's anyone else that wants to help us out there, we've only got basically 3 days to do it. So that's the real reason I'm here tonight. But to answer your question, yeah, I think it is played out. And one of the reasons why I took approach on both the movies I directed that are part of Devil's Five, Stash, and what we call Devil's Five, which is the wraparound that encapsulates the entire film. I felt that at this point you kind of have to veer off the straight found footage. I think one thing's for sure, you can't do that shaky Blair Witch crap because nobody likes that anyway.
Yeah, no kidding.
So when I did Stash last year, we shot actually some of it in Steadicam, so we'd have the floating look. We shot with a $60,000 red camera, so it doesn't look like some crappy video camera that some kid has at a film score off the street. It's a really high quality image. We went for a really glossy look. Now, it's not a Hollywood movie. It still has a little roughness here and there, but we're going for something that looks really good. And the same thing with Devil's Five. Devil's Five, we're going for a really deliberate look. And the truth of it is besides the first scene, there's no reason for it to be shot found footage. So in my opinion, you have to make like a hybrid now, where you have a little bit of it and you have a little bit of regular traditional movie making style. And that's what this is going to have. So after that first scene, in fact, none of it as far as Devil's Five, meaning the beginning in between movie 1 and 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, and the very end, that'll all be shot traditional style.
And you know what? That's actually a much better way of doing it anyway. That adds more, I don't know, it adds a different element to the movie. Like they did the same type of thing with one of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre movies, where they added just a little bit of found footage, and that added such a creepy element to the movie. I love that. But yeah, the Blair Witch, that whole shaky cam, the way they did it, was just, that's played out completely.
Oh yeah, and I think there's other things about the
Well, what do you say about the security camera? Like, what is it? Paranormal Activity.
I loved it. I thought the first one and even the second one were really good. Obviously, the more they went, the further they got away from the first ideas. But I loved it. I thought it seemed like it was real. You know, we all know it's a movie, but it just gave it that kind of reality-based. I think that's one of the things about this first scene in the movie, which we hope to have enough money to do the way I wrote it. With the money we've collected so far, we actually are in very real possibility that we're going to have to change it. Because I don't know if we're going to have enough money to what I wrote. I wrote a car chase at night with 2 cop cars and a black BMW. Guy gets out with a shotgun. There's a really explosive scene, violence-wise. And I don't know if we have the money to do it like that. So if we don't get enough money in the next 3 days, we might have to completely change it.
Well, how much are you asking for on Indiegogo? How close are you to it?
Well, originally we put $20,000. I think that was maybe a mistake. Because I think it scares people. People think that, if I put $25 in or $50 in, it's not going to make a difference. Well, the truth of it will. I think we should have put 10. Right now we got about 2,100. If we could get close to about 5 or 6,000, I think we can do the movie the way I wrote it. I think if we get less than that, we're probably going to have to change it. And we might even come to the point where maybe we can't have Ralph in the movie. We may not be able to afford to fly him from Germany there and back. So if that happens, then we have to find someone locally. Now we lose that star quality, guy who has marketability over the world, and then we just still have Veronica. But I'd like to do it both. We may not have the money for that. So we've got a plan A, a plan B, a plan C, and a plan D. We may have to make it, instead of being a roadway, police station, hospital, and a police station again, we may have to take one of those away. We may have to take 3 of those away. We might have to make it one location and completely change it.
Eventually, you're gonna have to make a movie like Buried, who is just a guy in a box.
Which we really don't want to do that, but the fact is, we really need support to do the movie the right way. So, if there's anyone out there that wants to give us a hand, you can see there's all kinds of cool perks on Indiegogo. There's stuff you can get back. You can be a producer on the film if you give enough. We've actually had one guy, which was great, who actually took our biggest perk. He gave us $1,500, and he gets everything, including his own perk. If it has to be mutually agreed upon, but he's going to be in the movie. He's going to be able to be on the set, and he gets to create his own perk. He gets a handmade hook that's got the Devil's Five branded in it. He's going to be in the last scene in the movie. He gets to Skype with Veronica and Ralph. He gets to Skype with me. He gets everything. So We've
now,
actually
is this guy known to be a stalker in the past with any of the cast members?
Well, for $1,500,
I think he's actually a good friend and a fan of Veronica in particular. So
you might want to check beforehand that he's not a stalker and there's no restraining order. It's I'm just
it's all good if they're only on Skype. If they're only on Skype, it's all good.
But he's going to be on the set as well, and
it's
a real horror movie or horror reality.
Well, hopefully it's not a stalker.
Yeah, Veronica vouched for this guy and she said he's great.
If she already said, yeah, okay.
That's cool.
That would be a cool plot line. You make you're filming a horror movie, but horrors really happen while you're filming the horror movie.
Yeah, let's hope that doesn't happen. Terry, we're out of time here. We got to go. We got a guest, Scott Marlowe, waiting for us in the next hour. Give everybody the link again, MontereyPictures.com, and what's the link to the Indiegogo so everybody can go there directly? Or I can just find it.
Yeah, it's INDIEGOGO.com, and in the upper search button on the right, just type in DEVILS, space FIVE, Devils 5. You can watch our teaser trailer. There's interviews with all our cast, a lot of the crew, including myself. There's all kinds of cool perks. We've got 3 days left. We end at 3 o'clock on Saturday. You can go to MantaRayPictures.com, Devils 5 on Facebook, Wraparound DF at Twitter. That's our Twitter page. Stash the Movie at Twitter, Manta Ray 16 at Twitter. There's all kinds of stuff to find us.
Very cool.
Excellent.
Thanks for being here, buddy. Love you.
Thanks for having me on the show, guys.
No worries. Enjoy the day.
Okay,
guys, that is the great Terry Wickham right there, and please support the project Devils 5. It looks like it's going to be a very, very cool film. It really does, and I like supporting independent projects, Alan. I know you do also, my friend.
Oh, very much so. You know where I'm coming from on that, but
exactly.
There's stuff I can talk about on the radio. There's stuff I can't talk about on the radio.